Hermano, Part 1. The World Before the Flowers. There was a time, not so long ago, when a place called the Gardenview Educational Center stood tall and full of life. Built in the late 1980s, it was a dream come true for children and families, a place where learning met laughter, where cartoon characters called Toons walked the halls, greeting visitors, playing games, and teaching kids about friendship, science, and the natural world. These Toons weren't just drawings on a screen. They were alive, brought into being by a brilliant but mysterious creator named Delilah Keen. Using a strange ink-like substance called ichor, nobody truly understood what ichor was or where it came from, but it gave the Toons something magical: consciousness, emotion, and the ability to grow. At the heart of Gardenview was a cheerful flower-headed character named Dandy. He was the star of a TV show, the mascot of the whole operation, and the first living Toon ever created. Around him, a cast of colorful friends came to life: Pebble, Astro, Sprout, V, Shelly, each one designed to represent something wonderful about childhood: curiosity, bravery, kindness. And for a while, everything was beautiful. The halls of Gardenview buzzed with the sound of children's footsteps. Posters lined the walls. Gift shops overflowed with plush toys. The Dandy's World TV show aired every week, and kids across the country tuned in to watch their favorite Toons go on adventures together. It was a golden age, a time when everything felt safe, colorful, and full of possibility. But golden ages, as you may already know, don't last forever. Same. Part 2, a basket full of hope. Dreaming. When the creators at Gardenview decided to expand their world with holiday-themed events, they needed new Toons, characters tied to special times of the year. Christmas got its own crew, Halloween followed, and then came Easter. For Easter, Delilah created 4 brand new Toons. There was Eggson, a wise, gentle halved egg with round glasses and an orange cane, who always had something thoughtful to say, even if half the time he just said the word eggs. There was Flight, a graceful butterfly Toon who could summon gusts of wind to help her friends move faster. And there was Coco, a chocolate bunny, friendly and warm, the kind of character everyone instantly liked, easy to talk to, easy to love. And then there was Bassie Bloomington, a wicker basket Toon, her head overflowing with pressed flowers, purple and pink petals with bright yellow centers, with green leaves sprouting in every direction. She wore a sleeveless dress, periwinkle on top, pale pink on the bottom, shaped like a tulip. Her socks were striped green, and her smile was small and cat-like, as if she was always holding back just a little bit of joy. Bassie was given the most important role of the 4. She was the main character of the Easter event, the leader, the face. She ran the special Easter shop, where visitors could spend their baskets, the event's own currency, on skins, stickers, and surprises. She was the one on the posters, the one whose name came first. And Bassie took that role seriously, more seriously than anyone knew. Because deep inside, beneath the flowers and the gentle smile, Bassie was afraid that she wasn't good enough, afraid that one day, someone would look at her and think, we can do better, we can find someone else. You see, Bassie had a gift, the ability to share. Her special power was called Springful Sharing. She could carry extra items in her basket and drop them for other Toons in need. Health kits, bandages, speed boosts. She was a walking supply station, always thinking of others, always making sure her teammates had what they needed. But that gift came with a quiet cost, because when your whole purpose is to give to others, sometimes you forget to save something for yourself. May kafamduim, may stadafandaro, mas imolindo, nantuling do monemurnem, imuma do homlindo, nan hemat. And if you look closely at the poster you're watching come to life right now, Bassie surrounded by flowers, reaching out with one hand, standing in a meadow of blue and yellow blooms, you'll notice something in her eyes. Those big, round, sparkling eyes. There's joy there, yes. But there's also something else, a question, a worry. Because at some point, nobody knows exactly when, Bassie found a letter, a note written by Delilah Keen herself, addressed to Arthur Wilting, the co-founder of Gardenview Entertainment. And in that letter, Delilah expressed concern. She wrote about Bassie's dependency, how Bassie relied so heavily on the other Toons to function, how she couldn't quite stand on her own the way a main character should. And worse, the letter mentioned Coco, sweet, lovable Coco, who could befriend anyone. Delilah suggested that maybe, just maybe, Coco would be a better fit as the face of Easter. Imagine reading that. Imagine being a Toon whose entire identity is tied to a role, and then discovering that the people who made you are already thinking about replacing you. Not because you did something wrong, not because you failed, but simply because someone else might be easier, more likable, more independent. That letter planted a seed, and not the kind of seed that grows into something beautiful. Bassie began to change. The timid laughs became quieter. The nervous fidgeting grew worse. She started watching Coco from a distance, noticing how easily Coco made friends, how naturally she moved through the world, how everyone smiled a little brighter when Coco was around, and the envy grew, slowly, like a vine creeping through a garden wall. Not loud, not obvious, just there, wrapping itself around every thought, every interaction, every quiet moment alone. Bassie became what the lore describes as an envious optimist. On the outside, she still smiled, she still shared her items, she still ran her shop and greeted visitors with her soft, hesitant voice, but on the inside, something was wilting. No, man, mana, mano. Gandandanes, Mulan Shimson the Nalanim Spice, the Lada Mamilan being Kumpermindan. One that tells Bassie's story is called Wilting. And in that song, voiced by the incredible Or 3-0, we hear what Bassie could never say out loud, her fear of being cast aside, her desperate wish to be the Toon that Easter needs, her longing to be enough, not just for the visitors, not just for Delilah and Arthur, but for herself. The song is a duet with Toastymarshmellow, who voices Coco, and that's what makes it so heartbreaking. Because Coco never wanted to replace Bassie. Coco was just being Coco, kind, open, unaware of the storm building inside her friend. When Gardenview eventually shut down, when the experiments with Icker went wrong, when the Toons were abandoned in the empty, echoing halls of the center, Bassie's resentment had nowhere to go, no audience to perform for, no shop to run, no visitors to greet, just silence. And Coco, still there, still being effortlessly herself. The isolation broke something in Bassie, the envy, the fear, the loneliness. It all twisted together, fed by the dark ichor that seeped through the walls of the abandoned building. And Bassie became twisted. Twisted Bassie. A version of herself, consumed by everything she tried to hold back. The flowers in her head turned trampled and wilted, her basket filled with black ichor instead of pressed petals. She lashed out at Coco, not because she hated her, but because Coco represented everything Bassie was afraid she could never be. And now, she roams the lower floors of Gardenview, one of the many twisted Toons hunting through the darkness, dangerous, lost, and impossibly sad. Yeah, so long though, mandins. Car Part 5, Grow Together, 1214. But that's not where the story ends. Because look at this poster one more time. Look at the title, Grow Together with Bassie. Not grow alone, not be better than everyone else, not prove your worth, grow together. And that's the message Bassie was meant to carry all along. The flowers on her head aren't just decoration, they're a symbol. Flowers don't bloom in competition with each other. A daisy doesn't look at a rose and think, I should have been a rose. They grow side by side, each one beautiful in its own way, each one making the garden richer, simply by being there. Bassie's tragedy wasn't that she wasn't good enough, it was that she believed she wasn't. She let a single letter, a single moment of doubt, define her entire story. She forgot that her power, the power to share, to give, to carry things for others, was never a weakness. It was the most beautiful thing about her. And that's the lesson hidden in this coloring page, and every stroke of color you're watching appear right now. The blues and yellows of the wildflowers, the pink of Bassie's dress, the green of the meadow stretching out behind her, the purple letters spelling out words that Bassie needed to hear more than anyone. Grow together, because we all have a little Bassie in us. That quiet voice that whispers, are you sure you belong here? Are you sure they wouldn't rather have someone else? And the answer that Bassie never quite found, is this. You don't have to be the brightest flower in the garden. You just have to keep growing. And you never, ever have to do it alone. So the next time you pick up your colors, whether it's crayons, markers, or digital brushes, remember Bassie Bloomington, the little basket toon who carried everyone else's supplies, but forgot to carry kindness for herself. And maybe, just maybe, color her world a little brighter than she could. No. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, drop a like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which Dandy's World Toon story should we tell next. Word count, naman duan at sindi 150 words. Estimated read time at narration pace, maanoon the one at 150 words. Maybe 100 mandi mo.